In tonight's Justice for All, News 12 Connecticut talks with a former police officer as well as a local police chief about his efforts to promote progress by changing the mindset of officers. News 12 Connecticut's Frank Recchia with the story.
I wasn't born to fit in, I was born to stand out.
Retired Stratford police officer Bobby Ramos says he has always been something of a rebel.
Made me popular in the streets with people, but it didn't make me popular within the ranks.
So Ramos says he's right at home speaking uncomfortable truths about the need for police reform in America, especially when it comes to how officers should respond when faced with the decision of using deadly force.
I get a call off my beat of a guy walking down the street with a rifle. I do the police procedure, I get out, I open the door of the car and get on my knee and I bring my weapon up and I tell him, drop your weapon, drop your gun, drop it. I'm yelling, let it go, drop it. And we looked at each other, had to be more like 5 to 8 seconds, but it seemed like 5 to 8 days. And Frank, it was something because he raised it up about 2 inches. I had all legal right at that point to shoot him, but I thought he deserved a chance. I just saw something in his face. He was a person just like me. And he put his head down and he dropped the gun.
Ramos may be a rebel.
My name is Bob Calamaris.
But that's not a word people use to describe Chief Bob Calamaris, a 22-year veteran of the Fairfield Police Department. When you come to a scene, it's great to see the way you guys work together.
Yeah, and I think that's important for coordination of effort.
But Ramos says it will take young, highly respected, forward-thinking officers just like Calamaris to help coordinate the effort of reforming American policing.
You can't cancel out police departments. They are necessary. You have to have a police department. But there has to be major structural changes made.
As many officers begin leaving the police force, Calamaris says there's no better time than right now to begin making those kinds of changes.
While it has been challenging to get new recruits, it gives us an opportunity to change the mindset of new officers into a guardian mindset as opposed to a warrior mindset. It's really a culture shift. I think the mindset overall of police officers have changed, and I think you have 99.99% of police officers that do the right thing.
There's no training when it comes to people skills.
Ramos says it was his natural skill with people, nothing he learned in the police academy, that kept him from shooting the guy who was pointing a rifle directly at him. But Calamaris says people skills are part of today's training, especially in his department.
And we have actually increased their training in our recent budget.
A symbolic change, but one Calamaris says reflects a new kind of thinking, is the redesign of the old Fairfield Police patch. It depicts a Native American and a white settler, I'm guessing, or a pioneer.
Yep. It had some divisive connotations to it.
The new patch, he says, reflecting a new age of racial sensitivity.
We wanted to make sure that it would endure the test of time, in addition to carrying on some of the traditions that we have within our police department.
Another new tradition Calamaris is fostering, the use of mental health professionals to respond to some kinds of emergencies.
We have Bridgeport Behavioral Health who assists us on calls when needed.
It's a move Ramos supports.
We're not trained dealing with people with mental issues, psychotic issues. We're not trained for that at all.
1 year after the murder of George Floyd,
Mama!
Two very different kinds of officers finding common ground on the need for police reform.
Police reform is not only needed, it should be mandatory.
There will be reform in policing. We need time and understanding to make those changes for the better.
In Fairfield, Frank Recchia, News 12, Connecticut.
Fairfield First Electwoman Brenda Kupchak sent us this statement saying, quote, "I've been impressed with the leadership of Fairfield's new police chief, Robert Calamaris, and the changes he's making within the department. Meaningful change takes time, but with the right leadership in place and the mix of veteran officers with new recruits, our police department is set up to succeed and will continue to serve our community with integrity." Well, new tonight.